I've noticed in the last 2 years or so much anti-Catholic sentiment in the secular conservative political world that is so misinformed and very much not based in reality whatsoever.
Political world, you're
in
saying.
the political world all the time. And I think a lot of it stems from this same thing of anyone who disagrees with me politically is demonic. We've embraced that same very hard shell exterior to say anyone who's not my denomination of Christianity is demonic. Anyone who doesn't interpret scripture the exact same way that I do is demonic. The Catholic Church is run by literally Satan or literally the Antichrist, which I've heard 1,000 times this week, for example. And it's very disconcerting to me because I think we've been operational on the defensive for so long that now we just feel defensive about everything. And when we are confronted with truth that might differ from what we thought was truth, we don't know how to respond to that.
I also think it's us pulling ourselves out of ambiguity and no longer being willing to settle for reasonable ambiguity.
Absolutely correct.
So I cannot live like that. I cannot live in chaos. There must be order. And we come up with these really rigid categories about who's in and who's out without kind of extending charity towards the other. That's interesting.
You mentioned, for example, if you've gone through a surgery and you might identify yourself as transgender, are those people just supposed to live that way and go deeper and deeper and deeper into that ideology forever? This week, we had a lot of big headlines go pretty viral when the church reaffirmed the same teaching from the last 2,000 years that anyone and everyone is invited to be baptized in the Catholic Church. If you leave your life of sin behind, if you promise and vow to denounce Satan and all of his works, you too can choose to walk towards sainthood instead of a life of sin. And specifically, our secular media twisted that to say, the Pope said transgender people can be Catholic and be godparents and be witnesses at a wedding. How dare they? That's completely blasphemy. That's a heresy. This Pope is the Antichrist. And I saw so many well-meaning Christian friends in my life who might not be Catholic, but various denominations of Protestantism echo those same sentiments that if you are a Catholic, you are straight on the path to hell. Many posts about that. If you follow the tradition from the last 2,000 years of our faith, you are not interpreting the Bible correctly and you will be punished for that. You are a sinner. You are giving in to Satan. Are we that hard-shelled? And do we have that so much of a built-up exterior of being defensive that we can look at each other, no matter how badly we've sinned, and say, you're condemned forever. Sorry. You can never choose to let that go and move forward. That broke my heart this week to see how many people had no concept of redemption, especially for people in our generation who might be children being like forced into transition surgeries and hormones from parents or their principal at school and being manipulated into things. They might not be even choosing that for themselves. Are we really going to look at an 18-year-old girl who transitioned and then decided, this is not for me, this is not right, this isn't who God made me to be, and say that there's no place for you in our church? I hope not. I would hope that we have the ability to look at them with compassion, to say, you've been duped, you've been lied to by this world, but there's hope for you, there's a grace for you, there's an opportunity for redemption for you. But I've seen so many, again, well-meaning Christians wanting to protect the dogma of faith and wanting to protect what we believe in say, there's the door.
Yes, I'm thinking of that line from Scripture. Wow, okay, sorry about that. I'm thinking of that line in Scripture, I'd like to find it, where our blessed Lord says, the love of many will grow cold.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's what might be happening here, because we want to maintain both kindness and truth, but in a day and age where you feel like you're under attack by lies, you can lose charity for each other.
Absolutely. It's gotten me really thinking more about my platform and the content that I'm putting out there. Like, why am I doing this? And it's always been to tell the truth. That's always been what I've wanted to do ever since I was a kid. But I'm seeing such a bigger need in society and culture today, not to tell people who to vote for president or what the heck's happening with this bill in Congress, but to talk to people about their souls. I mean, we are really dealing with a spiritual level of warfare that I think the average person doesn't like to think about every day. It makes us uncomfortable. We don't like to think about the things that we can't see with our own two eyes. But even within the Americanized church, we're really condemning each other to hell today. That's what we're doing instead of pursuing truth and pursuing God. That's very disconcerting to me.
Here's the scripture from Matthew 24. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold.
Wow.
But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved.
Most.
Yeah.
That's telling.
Yeah, and why? Why is our love growing cold? That's very interesting. Because of the increase of wickedness. Isn't that interesting? Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of many will grow cold. And I think it's just for one interpretation that seems reasonable to me is the one we're kind of talking about now. You see wickedness and you hate the wickedness and you attack the wickedness and you forget that the wickedness is sometimes attached to a person for whom Christ died. And the love grows cold. And so now you just become about what's true, what's factual, without kind of concern for the other. I think it was Edith Stein who said, neither kindness without truth or truth without kindness. It's
Truth in
easy
love.
to say,
yeah.
Easy to say, but difficult to do.
Yeah.
Very difficult to do. My goodness gracious. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.